Okay, today we're going to learn how to add a new asset to K12 Asset Pro. So at the top, we're going to click on our Create button, and we'll go ahead and click on Asset to select creating a new asset. And from here, it's pretty self-explanatory. At the top, we're going to add the site that this item is going to be added to. So we'll go ahead and select our elementary school here. And then if we know the room number or the location that it's going to be added to, we can go ahead and select that, or we can leave that blank if we want. I'm going to go ahead and add this item to room 104. We'll then go ahead and enter the asset tag number that we're putting onto that item. So that'll be the new barcode number that you've put onto this new item. And then we'll add an asset description. Now, the asset description is for you to use however you see fit. I generally recommend keeping it pretty broad and pretty general. For example, laptop, floor buffer, desktop computer, stove, oven, things like that. But you can put as much or as little information as you want there. We have another place where you'll be adding the manufacturer and the model information, so you don't necessarily have to add it here, but you can add any description that's helpful for you to have displayed here. The next thing you'll do is you'll go ahead and add the serial number for your item. I always recommend trying to add as many serial numbers as possible because it's a great way to look up an item that may have lost its asset tag, for example, if a student peels it off or something like that. Next field down is the model field, and this is where we'll be adding our manufacturer and model information. As I scroll through here, you'll see that this is actually a drop-down list. Now, this is going to have all of the different manufacturers and model information that are used in your school district. But we're not going to want to scroll through all of this to find the information that for what we're trying to add. You'll notice at the top, this is actually a search bar here. So I can type in a manufacturer's name, for example, Dell, and it'll pull up all of the different Dell items that I have to choose from. I could also start typing in a model number. For example, I can start typing in the word latitude, and it's going to pull me up all of my different Dell latitudes that I have available to me. And you'll see I didn't even actually have to type in the full word latitude. As I start typing it, it's going to start autofilling only with items that match what I've got. So as I start typing, if I then type in 8, it's now going to continue to refine the search results for me as I start typing more and more. And eventually I'll type something and it will be unique just to that one. But that's okay. We don't need to have all of those results. If I type in latitude and that's enough for what I need to select the type of Dell latitude that I want to add, then that's totally fine. I can come here and I can select this Dell latitude. Now I've selected the Dell Latitude E6530. Now, sometimes you might be adding a new item for the very first time to the system. For example, if Dell just came out with a new laptop this year and it's never been used in the system before, then we're going to go ahead and need to add that new. It's not going to be in the system yet because we've never used it. So I can go ahead and click on this new button right here. And when I click on new, you'll see that it gives me this new window where I can add the new model name. So let's say this is going to be a Latitude, let's say E7755. We'll give it a category. So we'll say this is a laptop, and we'll give it a manufacturer. I'll say this is Dell. Dell is already in here, but if I did need to add a new manufacturer, I've got that button right here I can add. And assuming this is not a depreciating item, I can go ahead and click my save button. And now I've got that Latitude E7755 in the system here for myself. From here, we just have a bunch of optional data fields that we can add information about. So we can go ahead and add our purchase date, we can add our purchase cost, we can add our purchase order number, we can add funding source, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We've got all of this different information that we can add on our asset here. Now, I always encourage people to try and add as much of the information right up front as they can when they're first entering it into the system. It can be tempting to just try and add just the bare minimum of required information and say that we're going to come back and add our purchase order number information in later if it's not right at our fingertips when we're entering this. But life gets busy. We're likely going to forget to do that. So I always encourage people take that extra minute or two and try to add this information right up front when you're first creating the asset so you don't have to remember to come back and update that later. Once we've got all of that information added and we have all the information we simply click save and we're done. And now you've gone and added that new asset to the system.